guys, it's Kerry from A Novel Experience. I've got to be really quick today because it's already gone 3 o'clock and it starts getting dark at 4 o'clock now. So I'm going to be doing my October wrap up and I'm going to be flying through it. Most of these I read on my Kindle as part of either NetGalley or as part of Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to be inserting pictures here, there and everywhere whenever I bring them up. Because I don't have the physical copy, but most of them you'll have heard of. I'll be doing really quick summaries because obviously I'm running out of time. Sorry about the lack of makeup, I just couldn't be bothered. Okay, so I have my handy little notebook with all of my notes because I read 15 books in the month of October, which is quite a lot, and my memory isn't what it used to be, despite being only 21. So I will be doing reading from my notebook because, you know. First thing I read was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I didn't particularly enjoy it. I'm a huge fan of YA, I'm a huge fan of fantasy, but for some reason the writing style just didn't gel with me. I thought it was very juvenile, I thought it was in some parts blatantly ridiculous, it made me laugh out loud at bits I shouldn't be laughing at, it was quite predictable with some of the twists. In one point she actually said it tasted green, and for somebody without a sensory sort of condition where they can taste colours or something like that, or they can taste words, that just didn't gel with me. You can't taste green. Green is not a flavour. So I didn't enjoy it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I have heard it picks up as the series continues, so I have downloaded the second one on Kindle Unlimited, so I will be giving the second one a go, but if I don't like the second one I'm just going to be putting it down and giving up because life's too short to read books that you don't enjoy. There are too many good books out there to read ones you don't like. I then read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, which I've got in my lovely hardback copy right here. I absolutely loved this. It is... I forgot to give you the summary of what City of Bones is about. Basically it follows a girl called Clary, I think? Yeah, whose mum goes missing and she finds out that the world is full of demons and angels and demon hunters and that sort of thing that most people in the world can't see, but she can. So yeah, that's sort of all I'm going to go into with that, really. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children follows a boy who, he's called Jacob, and he wants to find out more about his ancestral past. His granddad always talked about a place, like an orphanage, run by a woman called Miss Peregrine, who, and there's all these peculiar children, like there's a boy who has bees in his stomach and he can send out bees, and then there's a girl who floats to the ceiling and then she's got anchored shoes and that sort of thing. And it's about Jacob trying to find out whether or not this is real or whether or not these are just stories after his granddad passes away. So that's, I absolutely loved it. It's got so many creepy pictures in here. I'm trying to find a good one. You've got a little bunny boy and that sort of thing. And where's the one I really didn't like? Don't remember now. But yeah, I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I've already picked up Hollow City and Library of Souls, the second and third in the series. So that I'm really excited for. I will be reading Hollow City this month, but that will come up in my November TBR, which will happen at some point over the next few days. Then I read Only the Innocent by Rachel Abbott. This is a crime thriller. I don't remember much about what this was about, if I'm honest with you. And I did look it up a minute ago, and I wrote things down, I think. About a mysterious murder of a philanthropist called Hugo Fletcher. He's basically a huge charity buff, he's quite famous, he's quite wealthy. And it's all about, they know the killer is a woman, but they don't know who or how or why. I thought it was quite a good mystery. At some points it was really obvious. And there's a ridiculous insta-love romance between the police officer and between the woman who is the prime suspect. There's an insta-love romance, and it's like, oh, their eyes met across a crowded room and her husband's just been murdered, and yeah, so their eyes met across a crowded room. their eyes met across a crowded room, and now they're like instantly in love, and they're talking about how they can't be together, and just fucking, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't swear, I'm really sorry. It's just ridiculous, it irritates me so much, insta-love. Then I read from NetGalley, it was a non-fiction book called Wizards, From Merlin to Faust, I don't know how to pronounce that word, and it was, it's a story about, well, it's not a story, it's a book about wizards, like the legend, and then how the legend came to be. So based on the real life characters and how people might have thought they were magic and that sort of thing. And it's a really interesting format and a really interesting premise that I quite enjoyed. But it lacks a lot of information. So in some parts, it was only literally half a page long, and I'd have liked to have seen a bit more detail on that. Gracie, come on, honey. So I'd have liked to have seen a bit more information. I did enjoy it, but without that added detail, I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So, and I won't be picking up any more from the series just because I think that there are better books out there that give you that detail. So then, for my Goodreads book group, was not mine, but for a Goodreads book group that I'm in, we read The Burning Man by Solange Ritchie. I hated this book. I really did. It's about she's the head of the behavioural analysis unit at the FBI, and I thought, oh great, this is what I want to do with my career, this is what I'm studying for. But it was so ridiculous. The sort of things she was predicting and guessing about the killer, you just can't do it. In real life, you couldn't predict half of this stuff. So it was really disappointing, and I felt Solange Ritchie should have done a lot more research into the actual career, because she's actually a lawyer, she's a criminal barrister, I think. So she really doesn't have much of a basis of knowledge, so she should have done a lot more research to see what is realistic and what is completely out of career path. Like, you can't predict after only seeing one crime or only seeing one particular aspect of this criminal. You can't predict half of the things that she was predicting, and I'm still studying it and I know that, so it's not difficult to figure out if you do the research. So I really hated that. I also thought the premise was really good. I thought I was interested in knowing more about it. The spelling mistakes and the grammatical errors in this were infuriating. I can normally overlook a couple of spelling mistakes and a little misplaced comma here and there, but not every single page. I rated this 2 out of 5 stars because I enjoyed the premise, and I think that this author has got potential. She has got potential. So I don't want to take that away from her, because she has really got a lot of potential. So I rated it 2 out of 5 stars, being generous. Then I read Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is the first in the Lunar Chronicles, and it's a Cinderella sort of retelling, but Cinderella is an android. She is she's not half robot, half human. She's practically human, but she's got some robot parts because of an accident she was in. Because of an accident she was in when she was a kid. So, like, some of her leg, her foot, her wrist and arm and stuff has been replaced with android parts. And she has, like, a control panel in the back of her head that sort of means she can still feel emotion, she can still feel pain, she just can't cry or anything like that. So I really did love this. Obviously everyone and their dog have read this already, but only since joining BookTube have I really ever heard of it. So, because I wasn't ever really into young adult until I joined BookTube, which was only a few weeks ago. So yeah, I really loved this. I've already picked up Scarlet, Cress, Fairest, and I've pre-ordered Winter. That's how much I loved it. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to be reading Scarlet in November, but I really did enjoy this very much. Yeah. Then I read Dark the Night Descending by Jennifer Bresnik. Really? Oh, did I say Cinder was written by Marissa Meyer? I might have done. But yeah, Dark Knight Descending by Jennifer Bresnick. I really loved this. It follows Aaron Swin. He is the captain on a ship, but there are these monsters called the Saheldi, like they're shadow monster type things, and they're like demons, and they suck out your human soul and that sort of thing, and they attack people. Like, every single person has to hide in their houses overnight. They can't go out, or these Saheldi will get them and eat them and kill them. And Aaron Swin's father was killed by a Saheldi, and so it follows Aaron Swin's journey. It is absolutely phenomenal. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. I raved about it. I actually read this on from NetGalley, and I bought the physical copy. That is how much I loved it. And I bought the sequel as well in physical copy. It's phenomenal. It really is. 5 out of 5. If I could give it 10, I would. It was absolutely incredible. Yeah, it basically follows Aaron's journey, and he ends up on another ship, and they go off to these lands, and then there's these underwater realms, like these underwater kingdoms and stuff, and it's absolutely amazing. Oh, pardon me. So yeah, I absolutely loved this. I then read Lost Girls by Angela Marsons, also a crime thriller. Angela Marsons is my favourite crime thriller author, alongside Sharon Bolton, previously known as S.J. Bolton. And I read her first 2 in the Kim Stone series. I rated them 5 out of 5 stars. I adored them. This is the 3rd, and I got it from NetGalley. I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars. It is still an incredibly strong novel. It is really, really good. It's very well written. The mystery is... The only reason I rated this 4 out of 5 stars is because the format is different. Whereas the other 2 were sort of whodunits, in that you don't know who did it and you have to follow the journey as Kim Stone finds out. This one, it follows, like, some chapters are Kim Stone and the detectives, and the other chapters follow the criminals. And I don't particularly enjoy that format. It's just not very... I don't really enjoy knowing who did it and knowing what they're going through. I enjoy finding out who did it alongside the detectives. So I rated this 4 out of 5 stars just because it wasn't written for me, but it is still incredibly strong. Angela Marsons is such a talented author. She really, really is, and she's also a really lovely person. So yeah, I would highly recommend this series very much. Then I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the illustrated edition. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? Obviously 5 out of 5 stars. Obviously follows a boy called Harry Potter. Look at that. Look at Diagon Alley. Just look at it. So it is absolutely stupendous. Pretty much every page has something has like an illustration on it. Some of them are whole page illustrations. Ooh, glare. Just look at it. 5 out of 5, follows Harry Potter. He's a wizard. He's a wizard. What more do you need to know? Illustrated by Jim Kay, obviously, I forgot to mention that. Written by J.K. Rowling, illustrated by Jim Kay, who is a very, very talented illustrator. Okay, then I read Coraline by Neil Gaiman, also in ebook format. First Neil Gaiman book I've ever read. I loved it. It follows Coraline, who... She thinks of herself as a bit of an explorer, and she explores all her gardens. She's just moved house, she explores all her gardens, and she explores the upstairs flat and the downstairs flat. And then one day, it's raining, and it's foggy, and it's horrible, and she isn't allowed to go outside, so she explores in her house, and she finds a teeny tiny door. And she opens it, it's just a brick wall there. And then, later that night, the door opens by itself. So she crawls through, she comes out the other side, and she finds this other mother and other father, who have buttons for eyes and things, and it's basically that sort of adventure. It's a creepy horror sort of middle grade book. It's really amazing, and I love Neil Gaiman's writing. I flew through it in an hour. An hour to read a book. It was wonderful. Then I read Slade House by David Mitchell. Horror book, short story. Really loved it. This was for NetGalley as well. It's the first David Mitchell book I've ever read, and I have since pre-ordered. I've since bought The Bone Clocks because I enjoyed it that much. It follows a house over a period of years, and each chapter follows a different character going into this house. So it's more about the house than it is about the characters, which I thought was a really interesting format, because you don't grow attached to characters. You don't grow... You don't. There's not much character development. It is all about this house and the mystery surrounding this house. And I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, so I would suggest picking it up. I think it's just come out. It is really, really good. If you enjoy David Mitchell's writing, I would heartily recommend it. Then I read Playing with Fire by Tess Gerritsen. It is the new book in the new Tess Gerritsen book. I haven't read Tess Gerritsen before. She is a quite well-known crime author. I've heard really good things about her, but I got this for NetGalley, from NetGalley, and it was the first one I've read, and I really enjoyed it, actually. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. It follows... Sorry, I've got a cough. It follows a woman who finds this piece of music, and when she plays it, she ends up mysteriously injured, and that sort of thing. So she ends up going to try and find out the history and the past of this piece of music, and it's such an interesting format, the way it was written, because you follow the present day and you follow Julia, who finds the piece of music in the present day, and then in some chapters you follow wartime in Italy, and those parts are so beautifully written. She writes with such grace and elegance about a really a really horrific period, and she really does delicately talk about the Holocaust. So it's not all in your face. You obviously know what's happening, but she writes with delicacy about it. So I really, really enjoyed that part. The only reason I rated it 4 out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5 was because I felt that the parts with Julia were really obvious. Like, it was too predictable from Julia's perspective, but the other side of things was absolutely beautiful. Then I read The Girl with No Past by Catherine Croft, also from NetGalley. This is it's a psychological thriller, but I didn't find it very thrilling. I only rated it 3 out of 5 stars. Basically, you follow a girl who refuses to tell you about her past, and then she starts getting threats and stuff, and then things keep going wrong in her life, and that's basically all you know. Because of her past, she's being threatened by somebody, but it was so obvious and it was so ridiculous in some parts that I just had to laugh. And when you're reading a psychological thriller, you want to be twisted and you want to not know what's going on, and you don't want to laugh. So I rated this 3 out of 5 stars because it was written very well. I did enjoy the writing, and the author has got great potential. I just didn't enjoy this one. Too predictable. The plot was hilarious. I didn't care about any of the characters, so I didn't really care that they were being threatened. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. So yeah. Then I read Timebound by Risa Walker, also from NetGalley. I believe there's another YouTuber who loves this series, and I can't remember who it is. Benjamin of Tomes loves this series, and I really enjoyed it. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It's like a time-travelling cat and mouse chase novel, and I don't want to tell you much because I really don't want to give this away, but I really enjoyed it. It's basically, the first novel sets the scene, it sets the history up, and it sets how the time travel works in this particular world, although it is set in Earth, on Earth, present day, so it's this world, but there's different aspects of this world that make time travel possible. And so it sets up all of that, and then it's basically a big cat and mouse chase where she has to go and find her grandmother before her grandmother is killed, and oh, it's amazing. It's really, really good. I can't recommend this highly enough. I've already got the second and the third, one from NetGalley, one I bought. But I bought the second because I loved the first so much and already had the third. So I rated this 5 out of 5 stars, wonderfully written, plot amazing, characters incredible. I love the way this author, like Risa Walker, talks about relationships and sets up the relationships. I really do love that. And the last book I read was The Travel Writer by Jeff Soloway, which basically there is a sort of editor or something goes missing in a different country, and a travel writer of travel guides has to go and find out what happened to this girl called Hilary. That's pretty much it. It was very bland, it was very dull. I read it in a few hours because I just wanted to get it out of the way. I knew what happened immediately, it was very predictable. However, it was written quite well. So I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. I won't be picking anything else up from this author just because it was very, very bland, very dull. I've already said this, but yeah, I didn't enjoy it all that much. However, the author really does do very well at describing and setting the scene in this other country. It sounds beautiful. So that would be all 15 books I read in the month of October. And I will be doing my November TBR very shortly. Not today, because it's already getting dark. I don't know if you can see the light behind me fading. Ooh. So, yeah, I'll be doing that in a couple of days, either tomorrow or the day after. Probably not the day after, because I've got to take my cat to the vet. Do you like my shirt? It's a Pikachu, and it says, "My Patronus is a Pikachu." Woo! Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. If you want any of these books, let me know. If you've read any of these books, let me know. If you loved them, if you didn't like them, if you agreed, if you don't agree, let me know, because I love hearing from you guys. I really do. You brighten my day. Yeah, I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye-bye!